For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the stories inside the Man Cave Boys recommended. How about this? Anytime we can talk to this guy, good friend, great baseball coach, he doesn't like the term legend referred to next to his name. Ty Harrington, the winningest coach in Texas State baseball history, arguably the best time of year. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, right next to Christmas, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this. I'm going to tell you right now. And then, of course, man, from the get-go this year, man, I just felt like this was going to be one of those really incredible years in college baseball.
Right.
And I don't know, it's lived up to it, in my opinion. Yeah. And, there's been some great teams, some great performances. There's been, I don't know, man, I just think it's one of those years that just, we've never seen before. I'll say never. We don't see often where the baseball's so good. And it's so clean, and it's just from a purist standpoint, and I think from a fan standpoint too.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean it's been great. I mean, so it's been great to now. It's fixing to be unreal over the next 2 weeks, preparing for the last 10 days once they get to Omaha.
It is spectacular. I think. To what Ty said, he has seen a ton of baseball, and he's still doing it. I mean, he's supposed to be living the retired life. This guy is not going to slow down till he's 95 years old. He's been announcing games on the ESPN platforms for Texas State, was in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. And by the way, this episode right here brought to you by Honest AC and Plumbing. Their offices is based in Hutto, Texas. Hutto, Cedar Park, Leander, Georgetown, Round Rock, North Austin. They're kind of old school in the good kind of way. They believe in the handshake agreement, and they stand behind their quality of work. Honest AC and Plumbing, and they're veteran-owned. They had new meaning for them for Memorial Day. But give those guys a call. We've already reached triple digits a few times, and it's still not too late to have that maintenance of your AC, because you definitely want that AC cranked up and working properly here in about 4 weeks when we are hitting nothing but triple digits. Ty, I don't know if your AC's gone out, but it's not a pleasant experience.
It has gone out before.
Oh,
but now I know who to call. And so I agree with you. Hey, look, anytime it's regional baseball time, you better start thinking about your air conditioning getting redone or getting serviced or getting ready, because it's only going to get hotter. So it is. And so anytime regional play comes around, one of the most exciting times of the year, it's hot.
It's hot, and you don't want to experience that condition we call swamp ass in your own house.
No, that's uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable. Hey,
uncomfortable.
Before we jump into this, we got to give a shout out, because this is a pretty big deal. Texas men's golf, their program literally claimed their 4th program's national championship before Ty and I began recording this episode. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, dating back to Crenshaw, Kite, Spieth, that group, Sheffield, all of those guys. And now a 4th national championship. I don't know if you got to see any of that, this final round that they had against Arizona State, that being Phil Mickelson's alma mater. But your thoughts on this program? They have been extremely relevant for the past decade.
Well, so let's start with this. the reason why we didn't get to start till 9 o'clock was because I was at a restaurant eating dinner watching the national championship. Don't take offense to it. It was meant in the purest Longhorn form. And so I was watching the end of it with some friends of mine while I was eating dinner, and it was fun. So it's kind of like this, and I play golf now, and I enjoy it. I actually played a long time. I love golf, but I was thinking to myself as he's lining up, he's got a 2-putt to win a national championship, and I'm thinking to myself, and my hands start sweating over $4 in a group setting or whatever. And he just stepped up there, grabbed his line, hit it like he's been doing it his whole life, which he probably has, and wins a national championship. And so I got to be honest with you, that's a hook 'em moment, and it was certainly fun. I got a little nervous, and watching him, it was really fun watching the cameras follow the players that had already finished, and watching their expressions and their intensity, because it's similar to when you pan a dugout and different things that are going on in a dugout when you get into national championship mode. Not necessarily a Wednesday game, not there's anything different except because you're trying to win them all, but you transform into the playoff part. And you show a dugout during playoff time, it looks a little bit different than it does during the regular season. And it was really cool to watch those guys today and see their expressions and their anxiousness and on both sides. And then, of course, it's always fun if you're a Longhorn fan, you got to see the celebration part.
I think it's phenomenal. I mean, it's been a good spring for people in this part of the country in Austin, championships galore. And we're about to start the run for a baseball championship. And we're going to talk a little bit about Texas baseball here a little bit later. But this episode is dedicated to all of you Texas State University alums, baseball fans, a program that this guy, Ty Harrington, I know they had made some runs before you took over the program, but you made that program relevant, the stadium renovations, and you got to experience the regionals not only as a player at Texas, but as the Bobcats head coach. And I want to pull this up real quick. Well, before we do that, I want your take on the season that your guy, Steve Trout, and that staff put together, because I know you and I texted a little bit throughout. I try to leave you alone because you were busy not only with your career job. Again, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This guy is a tireless worker, but in addition to that, he calls baseball games in addition to his second career now. This was a legit nationally recognized program this year, ranked for the majority of the year. We knew they were legit after the Ohio State series. I said to you in a text, I think this is a legit program who could host, and I was disappointed there at the end that they were not right there for one of the 16 host programs.
So I'll go back to your original text, and it's been an unbelievable year. They've been so much fun to watch. Obviously, for me personally, selfishly, it's been fun because I have a relationship with the majority of the players, all the staff. All the staff that had either played for me or coached with me. So to watch them do what they've done has been, I don't know, man. It's like it's an interesting emotion for me because I want them to do good, and then I want it to turn out right. I want it to, their success to keep going forward. Part of the transition was I felt like Steven could, re-energize it, take it to a whole nother level, and he has.
Yeah.
And to know that, this is a difference. I guess to know Steven and the staff as people helps you with your idea that I want to see them do even better than what anybody's ever done before. Because I hear people all the time go, not all the time. Every once in a while, somebody go, man, don't you wish? I was like, hey, man, I'm enjoying every piece of this. I truly am. I'm enjoying every bit of it for the players, for the coaches, for that university that I spent 20 years at, selfishly speaking. And so I couldn't be any more proud, any more excited. I'm going to be glued to my TV on Friday. I'm going to go to the Texas game early on Friday, and then you'll be able to find me in front of a TV somewhere on Friday night. I was going to Whiskey Myers concert, but I opted out to watch the Cats play, and certainly I wouldn't miss everything. I thought I was going to go, but the West Coast is not a cheap trip anymore.
No,
right?
No.
So it's going to be a little intensive, a little expensive. And then on Sunday, I'm calling the game in Austin on radio with Craig Way. And so I'm really excited about that. And so I'll get to see a lot of baseball this weekend. And but I want to say this. I couldn't be any more excited for the program, what Stephen and them have done. Chad Massengale, who had played for me. I said this the other night on the air. I think he's one of the most premier, underrated college pitching coaches in the country. His ability to teach a breaking ball and how to throw a breaking ball and how to execute it. And if you watch those guys live and what they're capable of doing, pitching wise now is a testament to him. Jerry Cervantes, who's a volunteer assistant, played for me as well. And his ability and what he has done with the catchers. Josh Blakely, who was one of my assistants, who actually I've known for a long time. And what he's done from a recruitment standpoint and bringing some more additions to the team into this year. And then last but not least, their leader, Stephen Trout. I mean, look, they don't make people better than that. They truly don't. As a person, a father, a husband, they don't make them a whole lot better. And so it's fun to watch them have success. It's not always right to say what I'm about to say. It is right. I love to watch people who are good people do good. People who do right for other people and try to make the difference in their life, get the success and have success that they deserve. And it's refreshing, rewarding, and it's been fun. It really has.
So, that's what everyone loves about Ty Harrington. He speaks his mind. He has a great sense of humor. He's knowledgeable. Highly intellectual guy. He's from Waco, Texas. We don't hold that against him, but he's proud of Waco, Texas. And he was one of those guys that everybody loved when he played at Texas, but you did a phenomenal job. But you are spot on about Trouty. Phenomenal coach and Massengale. So you mentioned Massengale. So the pitching number. So I want to play off of that as we look at that Stanford regional. I see 3 potential or regional hosts in that field of 4: Stanford, Cal Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, and Texas State. So somebody, I forgot who it was, I saw a tweet with a graphic that broke down the Stanford regionals by numbers. We're talking about on-base percentage, ERA, the whip, the win, obviously the win-loss, and a couple of stats. Texas State was right there with Stanford. Okay? So your thoughts on that when you compare, and I'm not overlooking Binghamton, but they're the 4 seed, but when you look at Cal Santa Barbara, Texas State, and Stanford, and I know Stanford's playing at the Sunken Diamond, as they have many times. To me, it's a pick-em between those 3 who can win this regional. Am I overstepping my boundaries by saying that at all?
No, you're not. I think it's a tough regional. They're all regionals are tough.
Yeah.
But some appear to be tougher than others, and I think this is definitely one of them. The NC2A started sending the number 2 seeds across different parts of the country to me for the very first time, where they just kind of said, regionally, it makes no difference. We're going to go by the numbers, and we're going to just send people out, is what I keep hearing from everybody about the number part of it. And I think that this regional, to me, when you look at UCSB, they won their regular season conference championship. We've played them before. We went out there in, 17 or 18 or something. And it's 2 different brands of baseball. And which is why I think ultimately Texas State will win that game, the first game. And then you look at you could use the word you pick them. Yeah, I do agree that all three teams are quality. Obviously, I know who I'm picking, and so I do think Stanford. I had a chance to watch them a couple times this year. I did, and they're really good. They've got a couple back end relief guys that are good. Offensively, their numbers are going to show you they do have some power. The one thing I will say, they do play well in their ballpark, but it's not like walking into LSU. It's not like walking into a traditional or one of the more traditional schools like the UT or something where the crowd can take over the emotion of a game or make it harder to play at your highest level there. So that part of it, I feel like is an advantage for Texas State, and they've got older players. Again, that lineup, when you start digging through there, they got 3 or 4 guys in that lineup. Well, actually more than that are older guys that they're not going to be intimidated. They've seen pitching all year long. They've seen great pitching all year long, and so they've seen 95. So they're going to play defense at a high enough level. Even on the road, even though it's going to be on natural grass, which they've been on turf for the most part this year, because between our facility here and the Sun Belt, the majority of it is turf. But I don't know, man. I just think that I think they need to be aware of how good Texas State is coming out there, and I don't think they know. I think they just read the stats and go, man, those are good stats. They've had a great year. They've been in the top 20 all year long, but they really don't know. And to me, that's going to be the fun part.
So I definitely want your guy, Rowdy. This is what he said when the regional announcements were made on Memorial Day.
To go out west, but excited. We didn't really care where we ended up because we got a lot of faith in what we do, and so we've been road warriors all year and have a good record on the road. So excited to go out and face a really good UC Santa Barbara team. We played them at 18, so personnel wise not, but know their style a little bit of how they play, and so that's who we'll focus on first, and then go from there. But
okay, I've got to say this. I know he's his own unique person, but he sounds just like you in a press conference.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. He is more well versed than this guy is. I can tell you that. I think these guys are so young coaches. I've said this before. Now, they're more transparent than we were. We were always so scared we were going to give something away. Like, I don't know what we were going to give away, but we always thought we were going to give away something. And I don't know. I like the Steven's got a crazy positive air about him that I think carries over to the team and the way he does things and the way he handles himself. And I think the players play to it. I do. I think their personality is of such. But look, I don't know, man. I think sometimes, again, I'll make this really quick. Back in the day, you never wanted to tell anybody anything because you were afraid somebody was going to find out something.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, like, what are you going to give away some big secret? And so, I don't know.
It's the truth. But here's my deal. I think this regional field is more balanced. I mean, all 64, Ty. I think this is I don't see really a weak regional. And what I mean by weak, you have one, maybe 2 quality programs. I see these as all balanced. I think the host sites are going to have to work to win and be challenged at some point, maybe once, more than once. Because this year in college baseball, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I haven't been across the country, but from what I've seen, I do focus a lot on Texas, obviously.
Right.
But it seems to me the pitching, I don't see the quality programs have more than 2 pitchers. There's a lot of great hitting teams this year.
Well, so we've been in this debate now for a couple months with people, and it's probably a little more simplistic to me because it's what I think. So that always makes everybody think they're right when it's something they think. And so I just think that you do have good arms, but you've got so many older hitters.
Yeah.
They just don't give up at bats. They don't trash at bats. They don't get into bad counts. They don't chase the 1-1 breaker in the dirt that makes it a 1-2 count. So it puts them in a protective mode. And so I think the hitters have changed the way the game is. And then the pitching side of it, if you date it back to 2020 with COVID, there was only 5 rounds. So the majority of that was pitchers. The next year, 21, they cut the draft back some. Number of players in minor league baseball. Who's going to get cut out? It's going to be the hitters. So they all came back to college.
Yeah.
And are involved in college baseball. And so I just think that, the offensive numbers, I did the Sun Belt tournament last week, and they threw up some numbers that were trending towards this year's going to be one of the most offensive, years in college baseball, particularly since the bat change. And I was like, yes, I could have told you that to the get-go, because you got older guys in there now, and they don't have bad at-bats all the time. And in a 1-9 lineup, historically, you would have 2 freshmen and 2 new sophomores in the lineup. Not now. Not very often. I mean, there's the older guys that got, so Texas State has a handful of guys that have over 1,000 at-bats between games, summer baseball, and fall baseball. 1,000 college at-bats. Texas is the same way. So if you think about that from an experience standpoint and what that represents, I don't think college baseball has ever had this much experience, maturity, both running the bases, swinging a bat, playing defense, all those things that are critical in making the game clean, which we talked about at the very beginning,
right,
and making it, so much fun to watch. I don't think we've ever had that before like we have this year. And that's why this year to me has been one of the most incredible years in college baseball to be a part of, to watch. And I get to see more teams now than I ever have.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, they just don't make, it's not sloppy. So if you're a purist and you love watching a clean, fun, you're hanging on every pitch, and those pitchers are having to work for it so hard because you got older hitters, this is the year for it. And I cannot wait for Omaha. I mean, to see how this is going to turn out. First of all, who gets there, but to watch just how much fun it's going to be.
But why do you think it was that a team like Texas State was not sent to Austin, College Station, or Stillwater? I mean, I thought we were in this geographic. Let's keep it geographically simple, so to speak.
Well, I think they went by the numbers. They say they went by the numbers, meaning the RPI, and tried to make the matchup as even as you could, I guess. And so that's what they're saying. I mean, I'm not in the committee room. I don't know. But this is the first year that they've kind of geographically gone outside their regions heavily. Used to be like, how did UCLA end up in Lubbock? How did, whatever it is. And so they've, or even Texas, Stanford would come here occasionally in regionals.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time they just kind of said, these are the numbers. This is where they line up RPI wise. Let's start moving them to face number, here's a 1. There's a 2 that fits the number 1 according to their strength of schedule and their winning percentage and all the above. And then, the 3s seeds are the ones that they kind of kept regionally more so than anything else. And then, and I will say this, I think in Texas's situation, they got the toughest 4 seed in the country.
Air Force?
Well, and with Skeens on the mound.
And that guy's legit. That's the only pitcher they have.
Yeah, well, yeah, they got a back end guy that's okay too, but and then of course they're really offensive. We saw that on that Wednesday series. But they dumped the guy in there that's going to be a first rounder next year probably, so I don't know. They got to go somewhere, and so how do they strike that balance it's unusual they would send somebody to Texas that had already been there and played 2 games. And so, and I think it was traditional that everybody thought that Texas State would get sent to Austin. And then they thought, maybe we'll go to College Station because Stephen had played for, Slosh.
Yeah.
And then, they thought, it'll be Oklahoma State, which is what I thought it was going to be all along. I thought it was going to be Oklahoma State. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching these guys everywhere, and I'm like, what the,
They sent Arkansas.
Yeah. And
which is regional.
I don't know, man. And, but I got to be honest with you, I like it. I do. I like it. It's new. It's refreshing. I just think that it's fun. I do. They need to do this. And so everybody else kind of had a different opinion about it. My take on it was, outside of Trout, I wanted them to be closer so we could get there and go watch them play.
Right.
That's selfish on my
Selfishly.
part.
You and I both.
Selfish on my part and our fan base, which I respect. And I want them to be able to go experience this and love this and have the fun that it is to enjoy their team being in a regional. But I do think it's refreshing too that they sent us out west. Our brand of baseball will stand up out there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There is a brand that Texas State owns, but I think it's how baseball is played here in the state of Texas. One thing that to play off of this, because this is moving along rather nicely, but Sun Belt Conference has great programs, baseball programs. They truly flex their guns in the regional field for Sun Belt programs. Georgia Southern hosting the Raging Cajuns, who, have been a tradition-rich program. Then you got Texas State. And I don't know Southern Miss. No, not Southern Miss.
Southern Miss will be next.
Yeah, that's right. They're a 4 seed.
No. Southern Miss is a 1 seed. They'll be in the conference.
National seed. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So the Sun Belt, a great baseball conference, a league. 4 of you guys are representing in the regionals, and Georgia Southern's hosting. And the fact that Texas State went undefeated on the road, I believe it was 15-0, correct? On road Sun Belt games.
Correct. Yeah.
So that bodes well for them at Stanford, correct?
Yes. Yeah, they're battle tested on the road. That doesn't bother them. I mean, some people don't like the idea. They get uncomfortable, whether it's, routine, whether it's, batter's eye, whether it's the mound, whether it's the playing surface, whatever. It does not bother them. They have been almost perfect on the road. And they're battle tested on the road. And that's why, for me, when they said we're going out west or go west, young man, they're going. And that's why I think they would do just fine there as they would if it would have been College Station, except for us being as fans, being able to go support it and experience it and be a part of that. That part of it I was disappointed with. But as far as playing and who we're playing, it was a tough regional, but they're battle tested and they'll do just fine. So I think A&M wins their regional. I think OU wins in Florida.
Yes.
They're playing really good right now. Skip's got those guys rolling like nobody's business. And that's something that needs to be changed too. They need to wait in the future till the very last game is over to make a decision about where the the regionals are going to be. So you're basically telling everybody, well, every game kind of matters, just not the last one. So that's not fair. And I'd just being fair. Now, whether they would have hosted or not, I don't know. Yeah. But I would be, if I was OU, I'd be upset about that.
They should be hosting.
My winning the Big 12 championship in the last game of the year didn't matter. So anyway, let's go back to where we were. I think OU wins. Big shocker. I think Tennessee wins.
Let's go, Frank.
Huh?
Let's go, Frank Anderson.
Yeah, I do. I think they're good. I think Oregon State wins. Man, I'm trying to think of just people that I, would say the regionals that I meant. I think I'll tell you the one that's interesting to me. I think Coastal Carolina is a little bit better than people know because they just got healthy. They got Michael Knorr back and Van Scooter, the pitcher of the year in the Sun Belt. But I think they got a chance to make some noise. I don't think that they win it, but I think they got a chance to make some noise because I think ultimately North Carolina wins their regional. I think Southern Miss wins their regional. And I think in the Texas regional, it ends up Texas versus La Tech in the finals. And it is going to be really good. It is going to be really good. And but I do think Texas wins.
I'm going to go ahead and I want to pick Texas Tech. Okay, so that Statesboro, Georgia regional.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Remember now, Notre Dame, I'm rooting.
They could have been hosting. Should have been.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Notre Dame's pretty good. You know, everybody had them down as a host. So they loaded up Statesboro. Now, I will say this. I'm proud of the NCAA for saying that, okay, we're going to give a Sun Belt team a chance to host, which Lafayette has done before, but we're going to give them a chance to host. I appreciate that because I do think it inspires other college baseball programs to build nice facilities, to put money into their programs, to see that, hey, that could be us.
Yeah.
We could be them. We could be Coastal. We could be all those teams, right? So I'm proud of them. They need to do more of that. But they did make that regional tough.
Extremely tough.
Just, my opinion. But again, all the regionals are tough. Some appear tougher on paper. And I think that's one of them, too. Because, again, I think Notre Dame originally, with about a month left, most people thought was going to be a regional, maybe even a top 8 at one time.
Yeah, I think they're that type of club myself. I think it'd be cool if Georgia Southern won it at home. I don't know.
If you knew Rodney Hennon, their head coach, you would be there behind home plate. Dude's one of the most unbelievable guys you ever met in your life. And so for me, it's tough because I've known Tim Tadlock my whole life and my whole coaching career. And I actually, I deep down, I'm fine with them because I do. I like Tim. He's done a great job. But Rodney Hennon is, because people down here don't know him like I do.
Right.
Unbelievable guy and a great baseball coach. And what they've done there is truly pretty remarkable and fun. And then you got, the A&M where you got, TCU. I thought that was pretty intense by the NCAA.
I like that.
And TCU there. I didn't think they would do that. They did. I thought that was intense. And then they had, Matt Deggs in there too from, Raging Cajuns in Louisiana, who used to be an assistant there for Rob Childress. And so, man, they just, took a storyline to another level, in my opinion, putting it there. I do think Oklahoma State wins their regional. I do. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they beat Arkansas. Arkansas has had their struggles this year, rare, which is rare. But I do think they win that.
Arkansas, they will show up to play, but they're not what they were, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
One program you'll never hear us talk about much is UConn, and I think some people know this, and I mentioned this to Dustin McComas in the previous episode. So the Penders family, people in Austin know who have ties to UT, know that Tom Penders really took the basketball program to another level. Well, he and his brother played on a UConn team that went to the College World Series in Omaha.
Yep.
And his nephew is the head coach of UConn.
That's right.
And so I had he and Tommy, his son, on a prior episode, and we talked about that. And there was an old photo of UConn when they went to the College World Series, and I couldn't tell which was Tom or his brother. And this is just a snippet of that episode. It's pretty funny, Ty. And this is Tom pointing it out and talking about that rich baseball tradition in the Penders family.
I'm on the left.
That's what I was going to guess, but I wasn't sure.
And my older brother, Jimmy, is on my right. He was the captain of the 1965 College World Series UConn team. and I was a center fielder. He batted leadoff, and I batted second. That was the only time we were able to play on the same team until, I mean, you have to go all the way back to when we played Little League ball. I was 9, he was 12. I didn't get to play much, but I got to see him. He was a great baseball player who had designs and dreams of being a Major League Baseball player. And that's all he ever wanted to do was play baseball.
How about that?
That's good stuff.
It's a family tradition, deeply rooted to baseball and UConn. UConn has a great squad. I mean, if you look back, they've had some big names coming out of there. And I think when you were coach at Texas State, you hosted them, correct?
We did. They beat us 2 out of 3.
Oh.
And no, that's I mean, there were 3 really good games. They were all one-run games. And they were good. Really, they had a really good shortstop. I can't remember the kid's name now. And but they dominate that area. You know, so I'm not surprised. I think they're, you know, at one point in time, everybody thought they were going to be an at-large team, and then the last probably 2 weeks of the season, they kind of, whether they got tired, whatever it is, I'm not sure, and they weren't as good as what they were early in the year. But traditionally, yes, Coach Penders does an unbelievable job up there, and has for quite some time.
That's amazing. I mean, it's, from what I understand, he had rested some players to get ready for their conference tournament.
And is that what it is?
That's what I heard. I mean, I don't know if that's – I would buy that, you know, to get ready because they wanted to improve their seating because I think what was the deal? They didn't trust the rankings. Yeah, manscaping in the man cave. We're going to keep this one quick because I know last time we couldn't stop laughing.
I couldn't.
Manscaped.com. They got a new package, Ty. It's called
Of course they do.
The Ultra Smooth package, that is. You know, it's always good when you have visuals. You know, you got to love visuals in this day and age. If there's no pictures or you don't have it, it didn't happen. But this new package, Ty, in case you want to know, the Crop Exfoliator. It's a gentle exfoliant for the growing area. Okay, and then step 2, the Crop Gel. It's a clear growing shaving gel. You know, you want things smooth, you don't want things rough, and you definitely don't want a bad experience. But it comes with this very short razor as well, because long is not always the suggestion. It's not always good, you know. And you use that, Ty, you and your friends, my friends, everybody, the Man Cave following here, use that promo code, ManCave20, all bunched up together, the number 20 for 20% off. It's a promo code on manscaped.com to get the Ultra Smooth package. Beautiful.
What happened to beer commercials?
You know what? I need to get Austin Beer Works. That's my personal. Pearl Snap is the route to go. Austin Beer Works. Ty and I are endorsing you. We're not talking about Keystone Light back in our early 20s. You know.
We need to get Budweiser on here. No, I'm kidding. We can figure it. I like the idea. I got to be honest with you. You're the only podcast that I'm on that actually has a commercial during the middle of it. Just so you know.
Got to be different. But this has got to be your favorite part. The Man Cave story. You've told several. Sponsored by Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. You were at UT, I believe, when he was there playing football.
Yeah.
Is there a Man Cave story from your recent broadcasts? You have quite a good group of guys that you go out on these broadcasts with, ESPN3 for Texas State. Is there a moment while broadcasting the Texas State baseball program this year that really stands out that maybe was humorous by any chance?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I get kind of locked in.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, I have a good time. Brant Freeman, who I work with.
Great guy.
Unbelievable. He really is. And, you know, I mean, he has to put up with me. And, you know, I mean, he has to, you know, there was one time with this year where We did have hot mics in between innings, and we didn't know it. And that's not always safe for a guy like me. Every once in a while, to drop a cut. No, I'm kidding. And but I after it was over, we were kind of giggling about it. I was like, we were kind of giggling. Others were wiping my forehead off, going, man. And so anyway, it was fun and it was entertaining, that's for sure. But we don't. As far as just like some other fun, I mean, not really. I mean, I get so locked in,
right?
Like every pitch, and it's so much fun for me. I just, it's hard for me. We crack jokes, and there's humorous things that happen throughout the games or whatever it is. But I enjoy getting locked in. I do. I didn't sleep in New Orleans. We were there for 6 days, 5 days. We were there doing games, and we got a couple rained out. And I was just, I was ready to do. One day we did 4 in one day.
Wow.
And so, and I think it helped that the last game was Texas State. If I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
The last game of the day was Texas State, so it kind of got me re-energized. But I learned how to drink. Oh yeah, okay. I learned how to drink green tea. I never drank green tea in my life.
Go. It's good for you.
Green tea with honey just so I could keep my boys. I've never done that before in my life.
Man, it's so therapeutic. Organic.
Yes, I guess you broadcasters are used to that stuff all the time.
Not everybody.
I just thought everybody drank coffee and smoked heaters and smoked Marlboro Lights and went about their business. And so,
hey, one thing, because we live in such a negative society, we like to end things on a positive note. And this thing is, I love positivity, and this guy will bring it to you. But the guy who sponsors this next segment, he knows a little bit about homes.
Hey, y'all, Kevin Hutchison here with Realty Austin, and I am grateful to be a part of Stories Inside the Man Cave, a homegrown podcast just like my own business.
Hey, Ben, tell me something good.
That's Mike Harge's son. He's a smart, talented young man himself. But tell me something good, sponsored by Kevin Hutchison of Realty Austin. Ty, it's really hard to overlook some of the negative things going around us, but one of the most positive things that really brings people together more often than not is sports. It really is.
Yes.
People will argue the college football fanatics. We love college football, but tell me something good that a lot of people aren't aware of about college baseball regional time, in particular now because Texas State is one of the nation's top teams.
Well, I mean, if you're from this area, you got two of the best teams and universities going at it at different places regionally. So I would start with that. Secondly, it's a different time of year. I mean, you hang on this isn't game 12 of 56. This is it. I mean, these are each game, every at bat, every pitch becomes that much more exposed, that much more important. And when you look at your team's face and your favorite team, they pan the dugout, there's a different look.
Yeah,
it really is. We mentioned that earlier in the show. And the excitement level of, for college baseball, what ESPN Plus and what Bally's have done by putting all these games on TV has given all of us a chance to watch more baseball than we've ever watched. And it's the perfect storm because not only are we getting to watch more baseball, but it's one of the most incredible years in college baseball I've ever seen. And so to me, if you're not a fan, you're going to become one if you just sit there and watch it. And if you are a fan already, you get to watch your team. I mean, honest to goodness, you get to flip on your computer and ESPN, Plus platform about it, and they put these games on and they give you a chance to watch it. And then that gives you a chance to go to the coffee shop or the donut shop the next day, if that's what you're into, which I am. And you get to, talk about how your team did. And I think it's the coolest thing ever. And I just think right now college baseball is at a really, really big moment in time because of what the TV's been able to do, and because of the interest, because of we're sitting here having a conversation at 9:45 at night, talking about it. And usually I'm in sleep by 8:30. And so I think all of that is important. But I just think that college baseball has reached a whole new peak, and it's just going to keep going. I really believe that. I think the popularity of it is just going to increase. And I don't know. I think we're going to look up the road 5 years from now, and you're going to see more people doing what you and I are doing, having a great time talking about college baseball. You're going to have, more TV shows, more people like, Kendall Rogers and people trying to, formulate ways who's getting in, who's not. And, I made a comment the other day in a radio show, and I think it's I'm not too crazy, I don't think, about this. I think it would be fun to do a documentary on a selection show.
Yeah.
And how they do that. And throughout the year, take the phone calls, talk to the committee members along the year, and then as it starts getting tight down the end, how they formulate it. I think it'd be really fascinating. And I think the public would love to see it. And I'd love to hear it and see what comes out of there. And,
I agree.
But anyway, back to my favorite thing in the world to talk about other than my kids is college baseball. This is it, man. This is that time of year. It's special. It's fun. People that don't even pay attention to college baseball right now are like, hey, I'm going to the game. Hey, I'm going to watch it on TV, or hey, I saw, so-and-so. And so it's going to be exciting and fun. It's all going to kick off on Friday. And, Texas I'll be at the game in Austin at 1:00 on Friday, sitting with Dan Brown in the Budweiser suite, having a good time, and talking to Dan Brown's one of the most unbelievable guys in the world to sit down and have a conversation about baseball. He truly has done so much for, local athletics as it is anyway, in so many things. He and Agnes do so much and the whole Brown family. Lori, they do so much for, local sports, but people in general. So I'm going to sit with Dan, and he loves to talk baseball. Hardballs, he refers to it, and it'll be fun on Friday. And then I'll get to watch a Cats play Friday night, and they're going to take the place of Whiskey Myers, and I'm going to tell you what, you better watch out. Those dudes are on fire right now, and they're going to be fun. And so it'll be the late game on Friday night, and then we'll see what happens on Saturday. And get moving again. So if you don't watch one of these games this weekend, it's your fault. They're all over the place on TV. Anybody can put on ESPN Plus, find a game, watch it. Particularly watch University of Texas, and then at night watch your Cats play. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I find this to be more fun than March Madness, and I know we're kind of biased, but the game is growing.
Yes, it is.
100%.
It is.
So here we go. Friday, 1:00, Texas opens up regional play in Austin. They will face Air Force. It'll be on the Longhorn Network. Texas A&M has a really good regional themselves in College Station. Texas has a loaded one. The Texas State Bobcats out west, and Cali going to get a great suntan and see some bikinis or whatnot on the beach, possibly. Stanford in Northern California. Some of the alums will go to the vineyards in between games. I'm just assuming, but Ty and I will be here in Austin, and I won't be able to make it to Friday because it's such an early start. Unfortunately, I'm really disappointed about that. But I will be there Saturday and Sunday. Ty, I think since even when I was in OKC, I loved it when OU and OSU hosted up there. I grew up with watching you guys when you played at Texas regionals. They started a little earlier back then. Memorial Day weekend, you didn't know what was going to happen weather-wise. There were a few rain delays back then.
Isn't that the truth?
Especially that 87 championship against Houston. Rain delay for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's right. And you got a better memory than I do.
Oh, my God.
I've had a few foul tips since then, so I don't know. I don't remember that exactly. So I do remember celebrating, getting ready to go to Omaha. I do remember that, though. That's for sure.
That was a good.
I remember
good
counting
memory.
it down with one out to go, and how special it was because it was my senior year that we were going back to Omaha again. Back then, we took it for granted because we went, 3 out of my 4 years as a player, and it was just kind of like a way of life.
Yeah,
and it was different then. I mean, there wasn't as many teams playing college baseball at the level it's being played at today. But man, I tell you what, Rosenblatt and the ping of those old bats, and and look at a picture of Coach Gass with his hands in his back pocket with a chew the size of a mountain in his mouth, and I mean that was a beautiful time in my life. I can promise you that, and a lot of people's lives. To me, that was the beginning of college baseball, and on TV, and trying to promote it moving forward to where it is today. And so it's a beautiful game. It is. It's a fun game, and I hope everybody gets a chance to enjoy it this weekend. And then we'll see what happens heading into the Super Regionals.
It's gonna be fun. Hey, and a big shout out to Keith Moreland as he's recovering from heart valve replacement surgery.
Yeah,
I think he's ready.
He is ready. That dude's ready. He's gonna do the game on Monday if they have an game on Monday, and that dude's tougher than a hammer.
Yeah, he is.
He is. I mean, that guy's such a beautiful person too.
He definitely is.
All-time great Longhorns, but when you're around him, just one of the most incredible men you'll ever experience. And I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, he's not gonna be ready to do anything until July." And I was like, "That dude will be back next week. You watch. That guy's so tough, and he loves baseball so much." And so anyway, he will, and he'll be back on the call if they go to Super Regional. He'll be back on the call and be ready to roll.
I love to hear that. Big heart guy.
Yeah,
you feel it. Really, Texas. We're very spoiled here. We got you, Swindell, Keith, and Craig Way, all amazing at delivering the great game that we call baseball, play-by-play, and the storytelling, everything. And for all of you who are maybe watching in other parts of the country, and listen to the Texas game on the Longhorn Network. Listen to it for Craig Way. And that's how baseball is supposed to be. You can let's do it across the globe.
He's good. He is so good. I mean, I've had a chance to work with him some this year, and I used to kid him about, when I would watch Texas football games,
right,
that I would turn the TV on and then turn the volume down and listen to him. And it's true. That's not a lie. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And then I got a chance. I remember the first time I got to work with him, I was sitting next to him. I was like, all right. I'm in Craig Way's, man cave, looking out over Dishbalk Field, about to do a radio game, and it was fun. It was so cool, and it was a special time, really cool special time in my life. And to do that, it was fun. And so he's really good at it. And then, of course, my old college roommate, Greg Swindell, he ain't bad either, by the way.
Greg is phenomenal. Zeke is phenomenal.
Yeah, that dude ain't bad. And
he's damn good.
Yeah, he and Keith are such a great combination when they do the Longhorn Network, and they're a lot of fun. They really are. I enjoy listening to them too. So
good people.
Anyway, hey, look, it's past my bedtime. I'm just going to say that outright right now. I got a big weekend coming up. I need to get some beauty rest, obviously.
You do.
And so I need to. I'm going to head to bed. This is enough for me tonight. I've seen enough of you tonight.
I have too. That bald head is not good for people's eyes. So for the legend, that is the Stories Inside the Man Cave VIP ×3 now, Ty Harrington. And for the OG Man Cave boys that helped me get this all started, that being Big Mike, Coach Mo, and Hardball Harge, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.